without lag. Okay, right, we're going to start. We have about 20 slides or so. Might take about half an hour. As we know, the topic was talking about the career opportunities in the environmental health and safety industry. A mouthful, and obviously we are also going to talk about the program which we have had for 15, 16 years in Singapore. So a very established program. We have a lot of students as well as graduates in the marketplace. The university, if you don't know already, you must have checked our credentials, is in the top 1% of the world's university. There are hundreds of universities, and well, in fact, thousands of universities. We're in the top 1%. That means in the ranking, we are in the top 200. That's very prestigious. It's not something we want to boast or cheer about, but it's very important for you to know, because ranking of universities is not a simple thing, and we work very hard for these kind of rankings. Nothing against our competitors, but you can see that in the marketplace here in Singapore is competitive. We are way ahead of the other competitors who are in this area. Okay, top number one for innovation with a lot of industries. We are top. This thing is hiding. I'm gonna move it a little bit to the side so I can see my own slides. Top 8 in Australia. We are about 30 universities in Australia. Okay. Moving on, then we want to acknowledge that we are here presently. We have staff, faculty, about 10 or 12, very significant presence in Singapore. Administrators, about 30 of us total. We partner with PSP Academy, the local PEI, extensively for as long as this program has been around. So we use the facilities in the STEM campus, which is at Tiong Bahru, as well as the Marina Square, very convenient places to go to. Although right now it's all online, ultimately when we get to physical classes, we can get into those facilities. Now the program in a nutshell is this long name, Bachelor of Environmental and Occupational Health and Safety. We'll talk about a little bit more why the three disciplines appear separate are stitched together. It's career opportunities. There are many, many titles which you'll probably be overloaded with. We won't tell you too much. Managers, advisors, consultants, so on and so forth is available as a part-time mode right now. That means the evening classes, especially for working adults like what you are out there. If you are brand new coming out of school, diploma, you're also welcome, to take it in the evening. All right, the fees are as listed there, close to 28,000 for the 2-year program, but you pay as you come in per trimester based on the courses that you take. So obviously you don't have to pay every quarter, every 6 months ahead of time. You will pay according to the number of courses you take every trimester. Okay, details you can get in touch with PSB Academies, the program coordinators. All right, let's get into the details of the course. So always have some labels hiding things. All right. So why do we want this degree? You probably have done some research. So we have this. For those who are new, bear with us. Those who are, if you're new, then you have to know these terms. If we are in this area, then we have to bear with us some of these terms, right? So there's environmental science, there is a health, and then safety. So it's like 3 in 1. It's as if, you have double major, triple major, put more the better. No, it is not. What we did 15 years ago, we looked at the industry, the titles that you will be holding in the industry, whatever industry you are, which are a lot in Singapore and the world. That means pharmaceutical, oil and gas in particular, electronics, aviation. Your title is environmental health and safety, or you twist the alphabets around, health and safety, environment, or whichever comes first. And we look at the industrial positions, look at what they're doing. We back calculate and say, this is what we need to teach and train in terms of theory and applications to the students. So it's very, very much industry driven. Isn't that good? So that when you come out, we cannot guarantee you a job, but we can certainly link you up with our alumni, as Nancy will mention, as well as the contacts we have in industry. All right. So that's the reason for environmental health and safety. The three areas encompasses those areas. Very challenging to teach you all those areas, but we do our best. Kavitha will spend some time on the courses in a nutshell to tell you what are the flavors, how exciting this program is. After teaching for 10 years, well, I think I'm excited, for obvious reason. So in Singapore, in the whole region, there's so much growth. Of course, COVID has slowed us down a little bit, but it's going to come back up with a vengeance. There's so much industrial growth, and this is linked with industries. So that means in this environmental health and safety, there is not only a great demand, explosive growth in this area that is needed, okay? Because there's accidents, there's safety issues, there are massive environmental issues like climate change and pollution. So my next slide is not moving. Just when I was going to, okay, it's moving, right. Okay, the accreditation of the program is recognized by MOM. That means the title of the Workplace Safety and Health Officer, used to be called Safety Officer, is accredited, meaning when you get this degree with 2 years relevant experience in OHS, Occupational Health and Safety, you apply to MOM, you get an interview. We haven't had any candidate that's denied the WSHO because it is accredited and approved by MOM, okay? The other thing, which is a worldwide recognition, is IOSH, Institution of Occupational Safety and Health, is the largest OSH institution in the world based in UK. We are accredited. That means, again, your degree obviously recognized in Australia, in Singapore, and the world, right? When you finish your degree, when you apply for membership, you are at the graduate level membership, right? Very prestigious IOSH institution. We also have a very significant Singapore chapter here that is very active. Okay, so you need some background. It will take us quite some time to tell you about this worker safety health. It doesn't have the environmental part, but it is to me synonymous, EHS, WSH. Now, a bit of background, if you can bear with me, of how important and how, especially in Singapore, we're here, the government is viewing this area. Very, very important, right? And this is one very important vision, a document, a white paper, if you want to say, by Ministry of Manpower. MOM is one of the major ministries that is responsible for environmental health and safety. And so the Manpower, MOM, came up with this vision of WSH, Worker Safety Health, in 2028. It came out in 2019. So WSH is not new, but to show you that it has increasing importance and very, very important, more than important, for Singapore and the region to not only lead, but to be prominent in this industry. And the vision is to have a healthy workforce in safe workplaces. As you know, we still have incidences. There was a large fire in Tuas recently that has gotten all of us very nervous, right? The country to be renowned for best practices in workplace safety and health, especially in the health area, all right? And you see some of the statistics shown here. Over the last 14 years, there's more than 75% drop in fatal injuries. That's commendable, that's very good. If you look at over the time, right, and the incidences are put as, like 5 deaths per fatal injuries per 100,000 workers to 1.2 in 2018. So the 10-year projection to 2028, this is the Vision 2028 for the Ministry of Manpower projection for Singapore is a serious matter, is to have less than 1 fatal injury per 100,000 workers. We're moving towards that, although there are quite a few incidences recently, right? So that's the vision in a nutshell. And this one is a bit of a complicated slide, but we have this slide encapsulates, the vision 2028, outcomes, strategies, and recommendations. Basically, the outcomes, the areas that we want to work on: sustain reduction in workplace injury rates, minimize hazards that lead to occupational diseases. Kavitha is very good at that. We also teach that. What are the hazards, the exposure in the workplace that leads to occupational diseases? Very serious cases, a serious matter. Promotion of good workforce health. Health is not a small matter. Health and well-being, right? Mental health, for example. Pervasive adoption of the Vision Zero culture. So you can look into Vision Zero, basically another vision, basically to reduce incidences to zero, right? Like less than 1 to 0 ultimately, and health problems, health issues to minimize to the extent practicable. Vision Zero. It's a serious strategic outcome. Strategies, we go through it quickly. Strengthened WSH ownership. WSH, this culture has been promoted for quite some time. It's not new, but uptake maybe not as good as the ministry would like it to have in workplaces, in corporations, or the industries. So we want to push for that ownership. The government cannot always come with a big stick and crack it. We have to have ownership. The culture needs to be strengthened. Focus on workplace health, what I was talking about, health. Besides, even if you have no incidences, injuries or death, well, how are the health of the workers? That is crucial, isn't it? And last but not least, promote technology-enabled WSH. Well, we want to be on this gig economy, right? Everybody wants to play with, the phones, a lot of gadgets, IoT things, and a lot are moving to artificial intelligence and all that, right? Well, let me tell you, WSH is no difference. We are moving heavily into using digitalization, IoT devices to help us at work so that we can reduce incidences. Yeah. So training and work at height, a lot of death, as you heard, falling from heights. It can be trained from VR, AR, right? The IoT devices, among other things, and tool sets, compliance in the industry using wearables. They're all this area of IoT, Internet of Things, and also in artificial intelligence, heavily in this area. So 2028 is pushing the industry to be using these technologies to help us reduce incidences, among other things. So it's a very exciting area. That's the vision, just to show you the background of what is the government pushing towards, okay? I always have a lag here in my computer, so. Yeah. Lag in forwarding the slides. Okay, this one, another, a bit smaller text, but I took it straight out from the skills framework for WSH. Again, just came out 2019, all right, just before COVID, from Ministry of Manpower, skills future, right? Skills framework for WSH. Now you were thinking, if this is a sunset industry, if this is like, not very important, the government wouldn't come up with this skills framework, isn't it? It is. That means it's got the entire career map in WSH. Very exciting. Definitely. It paints, the career has been around for a while in the WSH, the opportunities, but, it needs to be pushed somewhat. So the government finally has this skills framework, which is very important to see how are you going to start? Where can you progress in the career ladder? There, of course, there are salaries related to that. We're not showing here. All the way to the pinnacle at the corporate level. Pinnacle, senior environmental health and safety officer, senior WSH officer, regional positions to global positions. As you know, we are regional headquarters a lot in Singapore, the global headquarters in Singapore also. Okay, let's go to the details. If you look at the color, there's a blue: operational control, system audit, and corporate. So that's again a summary in a nutshell. Operational control. So what are the positions? We name some: occupational hygiene, right? And that's a very important area, growing area, occupational hygienist. Not many in Singapore, so more in the region. So we need to grow this area, occupational hygienist. And we do teach hygiene and toxicology, as Kavitha will describe later. Then you start at the next column: worker safety health supervisor. Good. You've got to start somewhere, right? If you're new to this: coordinator, officer, senior officer, manager, right? Operational control. We move to system audit, the yellow one. So the auditor. So you can be a consultant, you can be in the government, you know, and you can be trained as an auditor. You know, workplace safety and health auditor, that's what you call. Of course, you also need to be well versed in all the areas of worker safety health. And then the lead auditor, right? You can be trained in this area. So there's audit line, auditing companies to workplace safety and health compliance. Okay, here and the region and the world. Corporate is where you move up the ladder, management positions. That means there's no lack of opportunities. Director, you can call it, you can be senior vice president, yeah. That means all worker safety health, right? Now, you would think, am I going to be operational control, earn very little money, and corporate? No, they're all, that means lateral, interchangeable. It can move across, right? It can move in operations, you're senior manager in workplace safety health. Of course, you have to have the opportunity with experience. You can move to corporate, all right? You're not stuck in one place. Now, back to operational control, you can be a very senior worker safety and health manager and getting very good salaries and experience. So you can retire as a workplace safety health manager in ExxonMobil, in Shell, whatever, very prestigious positions, right? You can remain in operational. Should you decide in corporate, then you are in the management role, right? There's of course a manager role, but more of in charge of your staff and all that. But this is a good picture in a nutshell of what the career map is. So when you get into the website, it is about a 50-page document. It details each of these positions, what it means, what are the tasks that you're involved in, what are some of the potential salaries, and what are the industries you can get into, right? So it's very exciting. It just came out, right? Of course, it has been around for a while, but the government is placing a lot of emphasis in this area. That's why you have a skills framework. That's subsidies, a skills future, and all this things going on. Wow, before I introduce this, very complicated. Earlier is a nutshell. This one, we kind of twisted the positions a little bit. So it's another version of the positions. On the extreme left, the blue one is, you see those positions, right? Junior executive, executive managerial, all the way to management in EHS. Sectors, those are the industries. And the tasks, which, what are you going to be doing day to day? I have to explain a lot of tasks, lead auditor, risk management, hygiene, and tox. Oh, I think it's very exciting, right? Yeah. So the tasks, which if you get to the framework, skills framework, they actually describe the tasks in detail and what level you're expected to be competent in. Obviously, the higher the level, you're expected to level 5, 6 in some of these areas. Yeah. Consultant. Okay. So I'll leave this slide for you to digest in your free time. So the industries, you say, where are the jobs? Well, to be real, these are the industries that our alumni are in right now. There are in fact more. I cannot populate all of it. Industries. So there are clusters of industrial clusters. So Singapore is a very exciting place, you know, I think for all of us, if you don't know already. Small country, you would think everything is in banking and services, nothing wrong, but we have a lot of industries. It covers 5-6 clusters. So our alumni, our graduates have an opportunity to be in all these areas. And these I mentioned are multinationals, as you know. They are not only regional positions, but they are global companies here. Oil and gas, those probably you're more familiar with. Pharmaceutical, I think now we know more because of the COVID-19, right? Pfizer is not making the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine here, but is making a lot of medicinal ingredients in 3 plants in the Tuas area, okay? And we have alumni there, seriously. GSK, Merck, and there's Sanofi Pasteur, which is a French company that our graduate is in. A few electronics, chemicals, construction, big area, right? These are big companies. Aviation, recently new but not so new cluster, aviation and aerospace. We have graduates there, shipping, and government. A lot coming from government, yeah? So we have friends all over. So again, Kavitha and myself, the university or Andy, we cannot guarantee you a job, but what we can do is we believe we can teach you both the theory, concepts, very important, as well as applying the concepts in the real world, in the classes. And we can bring you to network with a strong alumni, right? Yeah, even though you haven't graduated, so when we talk about alumni, you are already in the alumni, as Nancy will tell you. So that's how important you are to us. And you can network with them, and you know, you need to network, as you know, even in this internet age, to get positions. You hear about positions and they can easily pull you in, right? So if you don't, then you just call up Nancy, all right? Just kidding. So she's gonna tell you a lot of things. All right. So a lot of things to go on. So please contact us and I'll come up with the questions. You're welcome. And with that, I'll pass the presentation to Kavitha, who's going to tell us more on the details of some of the courses.
Now I'm going to give you an idea about the courses that you will be actually doing in this program, Bachelor of Environmental and Occupational Health and Safety. So as Dr. Charles already mentioned, right now this course is in a part-time mode. So we are offering the classes in the evening. Classes will be from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And due to COVID, currently they are online, but I think looking at the situation in Singapore, things are getting better. So hopefully we will be resuming our face-to-face classes soon. And there are 16 courses to be completed over a period of 24 months, that is 2 years. That is each semester, each trimester, you can take about 3 courses. That is first trimester 3, second trimester 3, and third trimester 2. So in a year, you can complete a maximum of 8 courses. So these are the 16 courses that you have here. So the 16 courses are listed for you. So as Dr. Charles mentioned, you see a range of courses from environmental aspects, occupational health, occupational safety. So you have quite a range here, a combination of all the 3 main aspects of what is required in the industry. Okay, so now I will go through a few of the important courses which I trust would be significant. So let's move on to the next slide, Charles. Dr. Charles, can you move to the next slide?
Yeah, I don't know why my thing has a bit of a lag. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah. It's so annoying. Sorry about that.
Technical difficulties often arise, right? It's part of it, no problem.
I was teaching, I don't have that problem, but running the slides, that's strange. internet lag on this one. Okay, all right.
There it is. Yes. So the first course is on industrial ecology. So you might wonder, what is this ecology? Ecology is something to do with the environment. So I study about environment, and where does industrial ecology come? So that is what you will be studying here, relationship between industrial ecology and ecology. So sustainability is a key word now. Everybody talks about sustainability, no matter which industry you are in, aviation or environment or pharmaceutical or oil and gas, anywhere they talk about sustainability. So whatever development we are in, it should be a sustainable development. Sustainable in the sense it should last for the future generations. So that is what is more important. And how a natural system combines with an industrial system, that is what you will be studying. And you will see that industrial system is not something apart from natural system, but it is actually within the natural system. So that is what you will study in this particular course. You will also look at life cycle assessment, that is all the products that are being used in the industries. How do they go about right from scratch, right from beginning until the end, what happens to them? And this is what will be covered in this particular course. The next course that we will be looking at would be biosciences. Now this course talks about all the systems in your body. Now if, for example, now if you're in a pharmaceutical industry working, then you need to understand the biology of the system. Like if you're going to prepare vaccines, for example, and if you need to provide as safety for those particular officers or those scientists who are working in the industry, pharmaceutical industry, you need to know some background about your human body as well. So that is where comes in biosciences. You will study about the different systems, how the systems work in unison. That is the muscular system, respiratory system, reproductive system, immune system. So all the systems you will study in detail, not too much in detail like a doctor, but at least some basics to give you an idea how each system works. So when a chemical enters into that system, what happens to that chemical and how your body deals with that particular chemical. So that is what is covered in biosciences. Next, we will look at the next course, hygiene and toxicology. So in this course, hygiene and toxicology, this course is basically divided into two. That is, you have hygiene and toxicology 1 and hygiene and toxicology 2. So as far as the first part is concerned, you will basically look at the various theoretical aspects of the hygiene and toxicology, that is the background information. And then in hygiene and toxicology 2, you will actually look at the practical aspects, and you will also have you will gain practical knowledge on how to go about doing different assessments at the workplace, how to make measurements, how to come up with a sample size, a suitable or appropriate sample size, how to make measurements, how to interpret the measurements, how to do analysis. So all these aspects you will learn in hygiene and toxicology 1 and 2. So not only that, you will also learn about the toxicity of various substances, that is background information. Remember, we had done in bioscience, the human body. Now we will look at the chemical substances, how these chemical substances can interact with the human body, what kind of toxicity they can cause, and how you can actually help your workers or other people in the workplace overcome these issues. You will also look at industrial hygiene monitoring techniques, the various analytical methods that are used in occupational hygiene. You will study about the background of these methods, that is the basic theory as to how these instruments work. And then you will also be using these instruments to see how they actually can be used to measure the various parameters in the workplace. Now, we've also included nanotoxicology because, as you said, it cannot be standstill. The industry is moving, technological improvements are coming. There's lots of new things coming in and lots of new materials coming in, especially nanomaterials. So in fact, nanomaterials are not even being considered on an extensive scale for when it comes to coming up with standards. So we will talk about nanotoxicology in this module to see what this nanotoxicology is and how it can affect human beings. So that is what is covered in hygiene and toxicology. So that gives you an overall picture of some of the important courses that you will be doing. And there are still 16 more courses, right? I have not highlighted on all the courses. I've just given you a glimpse on some of the courses to give you an idea as to what you will be taught in this particular program. So
good evening, everyone. And my name is Nancy. I started my BEnvOHS program in 2015, and I completed my program in 2017 within 2 years. And before I start to introduce about the alumni programs, I would like to talk a little bit about myself, because tonight the main topic is about EHS career sharings. So I would like to discuss with you a little bit how I started my career as a safety professional and what I am doing today. So I started my career when I graduated from Poly, so a polytechnic in Yan Poly. So I started to join a Norwegian shipping company, and which is a company I have worked for 11 years. So initially when I started, I was doing the onboard safety audit and occupational health and environmental audit. And after 11 years today, I'm working as a head of QHSE still in this Norwegian shipping company, and mainly I'm liaise with those authorities and the class societies and managing the onboard crews to ensure their safety is safe. And meanwhile, I'm also in charge of the safety system update for the companies. And meanwhile, I'm also using my spare time work as an examiner in one of the largest EHS examination board in the world since last year. And since 2019, I have been done for until now almost 2 years. I have been doing the monthly column list and writing the articles for one of the leading Chinese workplace safety and health magazine. And right now I'm doing my part-time study with NUS Master of Science Environmental Management. And I just submitted my final dissertation last month, and I'm going to graduate next month. So this is about myself. Dr. Charles, next slide. So this is about the career perspectives that I'm going to share with you regarding to what you actually can do. And in the early on, Dr. Charles already shared with you a lot covers on the safety and occupational professionals. And of course, for the BEnvOHS course, part of that you can be the workplace health and the safety professionals. And meanwhile, and over my experience as a safety professionals in the last 11 years, I realized that the registered occupational hygienist is really in need in Singapore. Probably until today, it's only still less than 20 of the ROHS in Singapore. But with the course you learn from the BEnvOHS, you can be part of it. And it's really in huge demand, especially nowadays since this post-COVID era, right? So this occupational hygienist and occupational health specialist become really in need in the past 2 years. Meanwhile, about that, besides this, I would also like to share about how this BEnvOHS course can lead you to the environment industry. When I finished BEnvOHS course, I decided to choose my pathways more on the environment areas. So I started my master program on environmental management because I realized that in the coming years, and especially with the knowledge we have learned from BEnvOHS course, the environment is another big trend. So few career areas you can explore is like sustainability reporting professionals and the sustainability consultant. Meanwhile, you also can work as ESG professionals. E means environment, social, and governance professionals. And nowadays, in the all the companies under the SGX listed companies, and every company they should hire the sustainability officers in charge of this sustainability reporting program, and the EHS is also part of the reporting programs of that. And meanwhile, you also could work as an environmental consultant, because part of the BEnvOHS program we already covered about how to do the proper EIA and how to do the proper product life cycle assessment and how to calculate the carbon footprint. Nowadays, if you look at the news, you will see that a lot of banks, they are starting to talk about sustainability bond and green loans, and that's also another career path that once you graduate from the BEnvOHS course, you can explore this area as well. And another things you can do is you can work at the integrated management system consultant, like ISO 9000, ISO 14000, and OSHA standards. And meanwhile, you can also work at the fire safety management and the OHS trainers, and in this area. So, and nowadays, another needy area is about the pandemic management. We also have alumni is working in this area as well. Yeah, and besides this one is this slide is more talking about the career perspective, and I could also share with you a lot some information about if you are interested about your continuous study. And currently, I just write down some programs like our alumni. They are really in some, for example. Some alumni nowadays they are in the doing MBA program, and some of them is still in the safety industry, like process safety. And besides that, like myself, I'm doing the Environment Master of Environmental Management, and I just get some good news from one of our alumni that he just get into the Master of Building Performance and Sustainability in the School of Design and Environment in the NUS. And we also have I think currently we have more than 5 alumni is studying in the Master of Safety and Health and Environment with NUS currently. So you can see that after you graduate from BEnvOHS program, it also opens the door for you to enter into the top universities and the public universities in Singapore to continue your master programs. And actually those master programs is not only focused on the occupational health and the safety, it also provides different pathways you could explore by yourself. Yeah, so next slide, Dr. Charles. So, okay, so another head of me is also the BEnvOHS alumni chairperson. So just as Dr. Charles mentioned that he is teaching you knowledge with Dr. Kavitha and other teaching staffs, but he couldn't guarantee you the job. But well, you can talk to me if you need the job, and I can do my best to try to guarantee you a job. So this BEnvOHS Alumni Committee we have set up in 2010. So until now, more than 11 years history, and we have more than 1,200 membership, and with 500 members, they are really stay active with us. And so one part of the purpose for this BEnvOHS Alumni Program is after you graduate and even during your study time that we could help you to build up the EHS professional network and help you to develop the professional knowledge and the learning development, so you won't have any gap of the knowledge and the practice with what you have learned and the social practice and the career practice. And another thing is we also, some of alumni is also part of the advisory board with the alumni, with the BEnvOHS program. So they could make sure that what you have learned is really practical in the knowledge, is really practical and close to what really you are doing in the work. So there are 3 tiers of the membership categories. Ordinary members, those are graduate from the BEnvOHS programs, and the associate members, that means once you enroll the program, you become the BEnvOHS students, you become the alumni membership. And the highest one is about the professional membership. They are mainly about the lecturers and the other EHS professionals. So some talks we have been organized, and we also invited some government speakers and commissioners come to deliver the talks. It's not only to build up some networks and share the latest regulations, and yeah, we also invite some university professors from SIT and US come to deliver some talks to build up some relationships for you to continue your study and to give you some more options to choose your future studies and work. So, and another thing that I would like to share with you that I just heard from one of our alumni, Sunny Tan, and he is working in the CNW service. If you don't know this company is doing the facility management, and under him, he is currently the regional head in this area. So for the QHSE area. So there are more than 10 alumni currently working under Sunny, and so yeah, so that's something like most of alumni, once they graduate or during their study time, when they are looking for the jobs, we usually doing the internal reference and trying to help our friends and our communities like this. So if you want to follow us, you can just follow the Facebook page, I have put it here at the UON BEnvOHS Alumni. So we always put some latest information, seminars, and career talks on this Facebook page. And you are welcome to join, and everybody are welcome to join. So we open doors for BEnvOHS Alumni program for the BEnvOHS Alumni students, and even for those who are interested about the safety knowledges. So just feel free to join us anytime in the future. Yeah, so that's it.
Please feel free. If you have, I'm sure you have questions, you can type it out if you like to. It might be more comfortable to ask any one of us, or just in general, the program.
Hi, Dr. Charles, it's Vince here.
Hi, Vince.
Okay, just like to query, because there's quite a number of safety-related programs in the market now, from diploma, then you go and do the WSQ courses to get yourself certified as a safety officer and all. So how does this degree play a part in terms of qualification or career prospects?
Yes, good question. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we still need to get, after the degree, we still need to go and do these WSQ courses to be certified in Singapore?
No, you don't need to. What if you are in the already doing some of the certificates program, level B or C, in the midst of it, that's good. It shows your keenness in this area. Then the advantage when you apply to our program is that you actually get exemptions from the 16 courses. So we didn't mention that, we should highlight that. You can get as much as 5 exemptions. That's quite a bit in terms of the scope as well as the cost, to be reduced. So if you have level C, you can get 4 course exemptions. It shows the importance of the certificate. The 5th one would be if you took the environmental control practice, right? So to get exemptions. If you don't have it, then you don't need to take it. You're welcome to apply and come into our program. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's answered the question, Vince.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Yes, yeah. If you have further questions, by all means, contact PSB or contact any one of us directly, Vince. Yeah.
And I would like to step in this question and to answer you a little bit, Vince. And usually once our alumni graduate from BEnvOHS course, so our career decision is usually much higher than those level C, level D, and diploma holders. And those level C, level D, once they graduate from the, currently there are a lot of courses offering, such as from NTUC, and once they finish those things and they become the WSH executive or coordinator, but usually once you graduate from BEnvOHS with one or 2 years experience on the safety industry, you will be promoted, or you will be just become the safety or WSH manager. At least is a minimum level is a manager. Then you will directly go to the senior manager, directors. It usually is looking for much higher, right? Higher hierarchies in the organization. So a lot of numbers of our alumni already become the regional head and director levels in ASEAN region, in APAC regions. Yeah. So like myself, I'm global operations. So BEnvOHS actually provide you a very good management knowledge and with a practical knowledge as well. Yeah.
Yeah, to add on to that, in fact, we have literally, me and Charles, we've literally seen some of our BEnvOHS alumni coming and telling us, I've just graduated 2 days ago and I've already jumped the ladder three steps or 4 steps higher, which is like fantastic for us when we hear that during graduation, they come and tell us, yeah.
Yes, yeah, fantastic. To add on, I know we got so much to say. Thanks Nancy and Kavitha for the input. There's nothing wrong to do the certificates. I mean, those are good certs to have. They are, from MOM, the good providers. Now, And then you can get to a path to get to be a WSH officer, even to that path without a degree. But interestingly, we have significant number of students that already have their WSHO title coming into our degree. So the question is, why do you need that? Well, nothing wrong. They are good position. They have good position in the industry. They will reach a ceiling very quickly because they only have a diploma, good stuff, and the cert and the officer title. And you hit the ceiling because you don't have a degree. So, don't mean to go into a paper chase, but there's a perception, right? So the degree with the WHO, right? So takes you up a few levels up. And of course, being very biased and vested interest, our degree has been around for a very long time, established. So to me, it's hard to go wrong. I haven't seen the 1,000 of us alumni, but I haven't had anybody complain that this degree is not good or anything. I mean, it's just when it's just being self-promoted by the alumni. So.
Yep. Any other questions? Anybody else? You can either type in the chat box or you can even switch on your microphone and talk to us. Very quiet. No questions?
We did so well in our explanation.
Did we cover all the aspects that you don't have any further questions? That's really nice.
Since can I ask another question again?
Yes, Vince, please go on.
Okay, so I'm now in a petrochemical industry, so I'm doing the process work. So I don't really have a safety profile, though we are trained in some safety matters and all. So from jumping into this degree, of course, if my company has a safety officer role and everything, then I probably could get some experience. But let's say if I don't have an experience, then how would my career path go after my degree? I have to start all over again, probably take a pay cut or something.
Okay, safety is not the only aspect for this particular course. That is something that you need to realize, because there are occupational health, you have environment, you have safety. So you have all three aspects. And as you have already mentioned, you also have the safety department in the place that you're working. So you can always gain in and step in. To begin with, when you're doing the program itself, you can say that I would like to volunteer and join them and get some exposure to safety. And once you finish the program, you can say, okay, I'm now fully qualified to join in. So I don't think there would be any pay cut or anything in terms of that. That's my perception. Or what do you think, Charles and Nancy? Nancy, I think more because she's in the field, I think she might have a better insights as well. And I can see her smiling.
I just talked to my cousin a few days ago, and she just graduated from the university in China, and she is in the middle of choosing her career. And I encourage her to take a safety, because I know so many connections in the safety industry in China could easily refer to her job. And she told me, no, I don't have this kind of experience. And I told her, well, you have a retail experience. While you are doing something in your warehouse, you know that the heavy things should put on the lower part of the rack, and you know those lighter things you should put on the higher part of your rack to keep it stability. But that's a safety things. That's a very basic things. Yeah. So I think safety and occupational health, and even nowadays what we are fed for the hygiene and occupational health, like the COVID, is really something like the common knowledge in part of our daily life, but we just didn't realize it until we really commit into the theory part of it. So when you are started to taking this BEnvOHS course, you will also realize that a lot of knowledge and a lot of things you learn actually is very, very close to our life and very linked to our daily life. So this is one thing I want to explain to you based on my experience. Another thing I would like to say that you should really join our last alumni talk. It was shared by one of our alumni dairy too, and he was sharing about how he has been working as a financial advisor with the Great Eastern, and nowadays he is working at the facility management and taking the safety roles, and he is even become one of the representative and the head of the company nowadays, just after 1 or 2 years after he graduated from BEnvOHS course. And the last time, I remember I trying to ask our alumni who want to share this topic about your career switch during your BEnvOHS time from a non-safety roles to a safety roles after you taking the BEnvOHS program in our alumni sharing. I remember I received so many alumni, they are willing to talk. Some of them are working at the project management, and some of them working at a chemical engineer. And you will even wondered that we also have the medical surgeon, before he was a surgeon, and then he become a safety professional, and now he is working, I think he is working at the head of the safety and in NTU nowadays. Yeah, so that's my sharing. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, the surgeon is now working at NTU, Nancy, you're right. Yeah.
Right, without getting Vince overloaded, you mentioned you're in the petrochemical industry, right? So that is a very good industry, even though you're not in environmental health and safety, but the industry has that area, because it's very important. So you might be in the lab or something, I won't ask you the details. So that means when you get into the degree, you will start getting exposed to environmental health and safety, as Nancy mentioned. So you would start volunteering in that department if you can, and get to know more stuff in it. And hopefully you get some experience, even volunteer outside in that area, so that when you finish in 2 years, you have not only the degree, but some experience, okay? So I don't mean to be too aggressive or rude here, but it has happened to our students. In the event that your company does not give you the position in the safety, which you want so badly when you finish, right? Then it's not the end of the road. Remember the alumni? Your experience in the petrochemical industry is very relevant, even though because it's processes and in the environment, you're not a clerk in some other office. It's relevant. So you start sending your CV to outside of the company, and the alumni will help you to tweak it so that it has happened. Yeah, so that's what is the opportunity for those who are moving out of that comfort zone. Yeah, but you are already in a very good industry, which is the petrochemical. Right, just to encourage you.
Yeah, and Logeswaran has asked another question in the chat. What are the pros and cons for a registered safety officer to do this program? Well, I don't see any major cons as such. It's just that you're already registered, because if you do the course, you can register directly. But if you're already registered, yeah, you're there. But the pro is like you get an advantage of having a degree, a graduation. That is what is more important, because WSQ certification doesn't take you much higher in the hierarchy. So that is what is more important. With a degree, you actually can climb much more higher and higher. So that is the main point. That is the main advantage of doing the program. I hope I've answered your question, Logeshwaran.
Yeah, it's an upward mobility kind of thing.
Yes.
And that is in this area,
Yeah.
You mentioned something like masters. Well, there are a lot of masters out there.
Yeah.
That are good. You want to make sure that they are exactly in this area to have a one-to-one kind of a comparison, right? You could have a master's in another area, nothing wrong, but it's not quite in this area. But you want to remain your career path in this discipline, assuming then this degree would take you up, much higher. Got to look beyond your company. That's true for all of us in this world, isn't it? Regional, global, network. So it's amazing. I'm learning. I won't tell you my age, but learning every day of wow, it's so exciting. You have to be, right? And like I said, we don't want people to die, we don't want people to get sick or explosions, you know, but it is happening, and there's so much work to do to tackle these problems. Even if we have 0 incidences, let's say, we reach that, I don't know when, the scope for us to prevent it from happening, you know. So I tell the students, you have to work cut out for another 50 years, but I won't be around, you know. As Nancy had said.
Simon is here. Welcome, Simon. He's also our alumni.
Yeah. Hello, Simon.
Okay, Hogan, as you had requested for the prerequisite, I mentioned that diploma. So if your diploma is in another field, then you can send in your application, and depending on the courses that you have done, you know, like the transcript, we will look at your transcript and see what kind of courses you have done. If it is science-based and has got some background, then based on that, Dr. Charles, he is the program convener, so he will decide what kind of exceptions and things can be given. But if at all it is in a totally different field, your diploma, and if it doesn't qualify, in that case, we will look at your WSQ diploma, and we can even grant you exemption for first year based on that. So there are many pathways by which you can enter the program. So the best or ideal way would be to send in your application, and then the program convener will have a look at it, and then they will let you know on the outcome.
Yes.
Because we give you first year exemption, a full first year exemption. So it's only the second and third year that you will be doing with under us and the BEnvOHS program, right? So the first year is fully exempted. That's because you come in with a diploma. So that is the advantage that you get. You don't do the full 3-year program. You do only the top up, the 2 years, the second and the third year. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Put in your application, yeah, because the next trimester is just around the corner. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Students are starting to take their final exams next week. So we start in May, yeah.
Any other questions? Anybody else?
Okay, well.
That's good.
You can always write in anytime, yeah,
yep.
for us, as well as the our PSB Academy, the program, coordinators there. Yvonne is here. She's one of them.
Yeah.
We will accelerate your, your queries and applications to be in time for trimester 2. Yeah. So I think we'll wrap up our session. Is getting late in the night. Some of you haven't had your dinner, and thank you for joining us. It's always a privilege to have guests at this time. I hope it has been useful. Please join us next trimester, or even if you have queries, let us know. Thank you, Nancy, Kavitha, Andy, and significant